Your family's legacy is being targeted by an invisible predator that strikes the moment you die. While you build a future for your children, the state is preparing a bureaucratic heist. In the modern fiscal landscape, your death is considered a highly profitable taxable event. They are coming for your unrealized gains to fuel their endless spending. This creates the ultimate paper-rich, cash-poor trap. The government demands immediate, massive cash payments for assets you haven't even sold. The emotional weight of losing a parent is instantly followed by total financial collapse. You are about to learn the brutal truth. You never truly owned your property. You were simply renting it from the state until you expired. Today, we expose the machinery designed to force the fire sale of your legacy. Your family's legacy is being targeted by an invisible predator that strikes the moment you die. The trap begins with a legal chokehold known as the probate system. While your family is grieving, the legal machinery instantly freezes all your assets. Your heirs cannot access a single dollar of liquidity to settle the incoming tax obligations. Then comes the predatory nature of appraisal arbitrage. Government evaluators artificially inflate the value of your estate to maximize the tax harvest. But the taxman is not the only parasite waiting to feed on your life's work. Court-appointed guardians and professional executors step in to take their cut. They drain the remaining estate through mandatory, unavoidable administrative fees. Your family is locked out, watching strangers legally divide their inheritance. It is a web of legal technicalities. An escape without liquid cash is mathematically impossible. The state does not care about your grief. They demand their money, and they want it fast. To meet impossible 90-day tax deadlines, families enter a forced liquidation spiral. Heirs are forced to fire sell ancestral land and generational businesses just to pay the IRS. Who benefits from this desperate selling? Institutional buyers and megacorporations waiting patiently on the sidelines. The fire sale devalues the asset, allowing the elite to buy your family legacy for pennies. Decades of hard labor and sacrifice vanish instantly into the maw of bureaucratic redistribution. The psychological toll on families is devastating, tearing siblings apart from the inside. This is not an accident. It is a systematic extraction of middle-class wealth. The state creates the liquidity crisis, and Wall Street buys the outcome. You might think you can just move your wealth to a safer jurisdiction before you die. But global reporting standards and extreme exit taxes prevent you from escaping the matrix. They mask this systematic theft under the guise of social equity taxes. They frame the destruction of individual family legacies as a public necessity. There's a dark, unholy alliance between megabanks and tax authorities. This alliance facilitates the seamless seizure of both your digital and physical holdings. Your privacy has been eroded. Every asset you hold is tracked, mapped, and targeted. The ultimate goal is not just government revenue. It is the erosion of family autonomy. A wealthy, independent family unit is the biggest threat to ultimate state control. They want the next generation completely dependent, propertyless, and compliant. But you do not have to let the state dismantle your life's work. You must stop thinking like a consumer and start using modern defensive strategies. Private trust structures place your assets completely outside the probate trap. You must create massive liquidity on demand through strategic life insurance policies. When the tax bill arrives, the insurance pays the state, leaving your actual assets completely untouched. This is proactive legal shielding, ensuring the invisible hand of the state cannot grip your assets before they pass on. Preserving wealth is not just about keeping the money in your bank account. It is about maintaining the autonomy, power, and influence of your family unit. Build your fortress today. Subscribe to Reality Decoded to protect your bloodline. You are probably wondering how the ultra-rich pass down massive empires without losing a single cent. The truth is, the death tax is entirely optional, but only if you have the key to the VIP room. Billionaires do not use standard wills or basic probate courts like the middle class. They use complex, impenetrable corporate structures and family offices. The golden rule of the elite is simple: control everything, but legally own absolutely nothing. If your name is not legally attached to the asset when you die, the state cannot tax it. They weave a web of LLCs, holding companies, and anonymous corporate entities. While the middle class relies on outdated legal advice, the elite use precision legal engineering. They lock their wealth away in structures that simply ignore human mortality. To them, the tax code is not a set of rules. It is just a puzzle to be solved. Have you ever noticed how the world's richest people pledge to give all their money to charity? The media calls them heroes, praising their incredible philanthropy and generosity. But this is one of the greatest financial illusions ever pulled on the general public. They are not giving the money away. They are simply moving it into a private foundation. A foundation that is entirely controlled by their children and hand-picked successors. By donating their wealth, they completely wipe out their estate tax liability. Meanwhile, the foundation pays for their travel, their expenses, and their elite networking. They use these tax-free vehicles to influence politics, fund media, and push their agendas. It is not charity. It is the ultimate weaponization of tax-exempt wealth preservation. They secure their dynastic power indefinitely, while looking like saviors to the masses. For the upper middle class trying to break into the elite, there is the irrevocable trust. Once you place your assets inside this specific legal vehicle, you cannot take them back. But because you no longer own it, the government cannot tax it when you pass away. The trust becomes a standalone entity that effectively lives forever. It acts as bulletproof armor against creditors, lawsuits, and the probate court. You can even program the trust to protect your children from their own bad financial habits, dictating that funds are only released for education, medical emergencies, or starting a business. You are ruling your empire from the grave, ensuring the wealth is never squandered. This is how old money families keep their estates intact for hundreds of years. They plant deep roots that the bureaucratic state simply cannot dig up. The system actively encourages you to pay off your house and become completely debt-free. But a fully paid-off physical asset is exactly what the state wants to target. High equity makes your estate incredibly fat and ready for the slaughter. The financially educated know that strategic debt is actually a defensive shield. By deliberately placing private liens and strategic debt against their own properties, they make the asset look completely unattractive and worthless on paper to the government. They use the system's own rules of debt against the system itself. You can borrow against your assets completely tax-free and live off the loans. You remain incredibly wealthy in reality, but completely invisible on the state's radar. The key to survival is not looking rich. It is looking heavily leveraged. Your family's legacy is on a collision course with the bureaucratic state. Ignorance of these laws is not an excuse. It is a guarantee of financial destruction. You must stop playing by the rules designed for the working class. Start structuring your life like the elite before it is too late. Protect your bloodline, secure your assets, and build your unbreakable fortress. Do not let your life's work become a temporary rental from the government. We are here to give you the blueprints the system tried to hide. Subscribe to Reality Decoded to master the rules of the new economy. Secure the legacy. Turn the key